All right, just got back from my first 40-something mile round trip commute with an all-day stint lifting 50-pound bags of flour and sugar in between. And here we are. Tiny house. You can see I made a little progress. This is day 3 or something like that in the tiny house. Tiny house, and I just got back from a long day. So it's very doubtful that anything's going to get done in here tonight. But I'm going to switch over to the handheld reverse camera thing, whatever the hell you want to call it, and we'll continue from there. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It's Tiny Housin, Volume 3. I just got back from, oh my god, the ride. Woo, it was a long one. Fun. It was a interesting day, that's for sure. I left an hour and a half before I was supposed to be at work. It was supposed to be an 18-mile ride. On my way there, I made a wrong turn. I thought that the access road that I was riding on was taking me up to Route 45, which is like an 8-lane superhighway, and I sure as hell didn't want to be on my bicycle on there. And so I got off. I took what looked like an exit ramp, and it ended up shooting me onto some side streets, and so Google was like, no, you went the wrong way. But here, I'm going to give you a different way to go. And it was a better ride. The first 5 miles were just crazy traffic. But then it took me through this quiet neighborhood and onto this bicycle path. And the bicycle path was like 5-6 miles long. And it was peaceful and tranquil, and it went around this little lake, and the sun was coming up. It was dark when I left, but the sun was, well, it was cloudy, but it was after sunrise when I got to work. And the sun was coming up, the sky was brightening up while I was cycling down this bicycle trail. And that was fun. And the trail popped out in an area called the Woodlands. It's a famous, put it this way, it's like, if I ever had enough money to afford to live in a house in the Woodlands, this ultra plastic people planned community, it's like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life in terms of an ultra planned community. There's a place called the Villages in Florida that's a lot like this, but this is like a whole new level. But when you're in yuppie Whiteville, there's sidewalks, there's bicycle trails, there's wide shoulders on the roads, and it was actually pretty tranquil. Even when I got off the bicycle path and I was cycling through the Woodlands, it was nice and chill, relaxed. There's bicycle paths alongside most of the roads, but the roads are just faster because they're smoother and flatter and straighter. So I stayed on the roads mostly through the Woodlands, except for the one bicycle trail. But then Google told me to go this certain way, and all of a sudden Google was like, make a right-hand turn right here. And there's no freaking road. Literally no road. There's a wall of another one of these gated communities, and there's no road. And I'm looking on the map, and all these freaking stupid-ass cul-de-sacs literally have no way in or out except for one road. And so the thing that sucks about living in one of these cul-de-sacs is you could be a half a mile away from the place that you want to go, but you've got to go on a 5-mile drive to get there because of the way these stupid cul-de-sacs are designed, and there's only one way in and out. So I had to turn around because Google screwed me. I was a half mile from my job, and I had to turn around and go on another 5-mile ride just to get back to the job because of the way these stupid cul-de-sacs and these stupid suburban yuppie asshole neighborhoods are laid out. And so It was peaceful and it was tranquil, but I ended up being late. Nobody got mad or anything, but nobody was mad. It's a pretty laid back place. But I was about 10 minutes late when I was supposed to be 20 minutes early because of the two detours that I messed up on. But then, spent 8 hours today. It's the shipment. They get the shipments on Monday for the. You would not believe how many pounds of flour and sugar and everything else that you can imagine. Easily 1,000 pounds of flour in a week. And go through 1,000 pounds of flour in a week at a bakery like this. So I spent most of the day lifting heavy ass bags, 50-pound bags of flour, 50-pound bags of sugar, 50-pound bags of brown sugar, 50-pound bags of powdered sugar, all kinds of stuff. It took probably 4 hours to do that alone today. And so I got my workout this morning. The bicycle ride was supposed to be 18 miles, turned into 23 miles by the time I got there because of all the finagling and the mishaps and the screwed up directions from Google and everything else. But live and learn. I'll remember the next time Google tells me to zig, I'm going to zag when I get to that intersection, that's for sure. So, the way home, I kind of decided to. I turned on Google Maps and I turned on the navigation because I kind of need it. I don't really know where I'm going. But the bakery, so it's kind of neat because where I live, it's southeast of this area called the Woodlands. And the bakery is literally on the opposite corner of the Woodlands, the northwest corner of the Woodlands. So I have to cross through this area called the Woodlands to get from here to there and from there to here. And so in the Woodlands, there's bicycle trails all over the place, plus the smooth cul-de-sac roads. There's like little cul-de-sac highways that go through the Woodlands that have like a beginning and an end, and they take you places. And then typically all the little cul-de-sac neighborhoods that you can't get in and out of except for the special, white people gate at the end of the road. Those have big signs on them with fancy, lettering and all that, douchebag hill over here and yuppie row over there. But I kind of let Google pick some bike trails like that were not adjacent to the road. If there's a bicycle path adjacent to the road that I'm already on, I'm taking the road, because the bike paths just wind and twist and turn, and there's people walking their dogs and all kinds of crap, and people pushing babies and strollers and all that stuff. I don't want to fuck with that. I want to move. I want to, it's the difference between going 10 miles an hour and 25. So I'm going to hit the road. But there were some bicycle trails that cut right across that were like, made it a shortcut for me. And so I let Google take me on those. And on the way back to my house, I took a whole nother set of bike trails. And it was kind of fun, and it was out, it's very woodsy. It almost makes you feel like you're out in nature. You're surrounded by these assholes in their mansions and whatnot, but they have it hidden very well. The Woodlands is a weird neighborhood, man. It's the way that it's designed. It's like your average suburban neighborhood with all the strip malls and the box marts everywhere, but they're required in the zoning laws and whatnot. It's supposed to feel like you're driving around a forest, even though it's a yuppie forest with, the mall is right down the thing. There's a Walmart right in the middle of it. But every parking lot for all these box marts are surrounded by a certain distance of trees. So you don't even know that you're at the Walmart until you see this little sign and there's a gap in the trees and it says Walmart here, and it can't even be a big ass sign. You just see a little sign that says Walmart right here, and there's like a little gap in the trees, and as you're riding by, you're like, no shit, there's a fucking Walmart right there. And, everything is like that in the woodlands. It's all tucked away behind the trees. And if you've never experienced it, if you've never seen it, I can't describe it to you to where you would understand what it is. It's the weirdest. Put it this way, if I ever had enough money to buy a house and live in the woodlands, that would be the last place on earth I would live. Well, the villages in Florida would be right at the bottom of the list. The woodlands would be second from last. I would go out and get me a fucking ranch with some land and no fucking neighbors that I can see out my window. Like that, and that would actually be cheaper than one of these stupid yuppie McMansions surrounded by, oh, look, it's a manicured forest. It's like if Disney World built a neighborhood in the woods, it would be the woodlands. I'm surprised they don't have Mickey Mouse ears on all the signs as you're driving through. It's fucking ridiculous. But it's tranquil and peaceful to ride your bicycle through there compared to the highway access road on Route 45, I'll tell you that much. And some of the roads that I had to ride at my friend's house just to get to this bakery and back were just as crazy. Well, not as crazy as the access road to 45, but I only have to take that for about 5 miles, and there's other ways I can go to avoid that. I just got to learn all the ins and outs. So, but it is kind of fun that most of the ride from here to the bakery and from there to here, more than half of it is through the woodlands. More than half of it is through that neighborhood. And, so out of the 20 miles, 15 or so are in that, 12 to 50, somewhere between 12 and 15 of the miles are cutting through the woodlands, however, whichever way you want to slice and dice it. And it's actually like a pretty peaceful, tranquil, quiet, like you don't got people screaming at you and throwing shit out the window and honking their horn at you and all that kind of stuff. It's these yuppies expect to see people out on these streets and on the bike paths and crossing the crosswalks and all that kind of stuff. So that was actually not a bad ride. It was fun. It was a different experience than what I've had cycling around Houston so far. And there were good parts and bad parts. There were parts that I wanted to throw the middle finger up in the air twice, give them the double. But that was more at the beginning or the end of the ride where people are assholes. But in that middle stretch, it's pretty chill. It's pretty chill. So, I don't know, man. So there's that. I had a pretty interesting experience. You can see behind me on the wall right there. It's a tankless water heater. And this is my third or fourth time that I've been in a place that has a tankless water heater instead of a hot water heater tank. And these things fucking suck. I'm just going to say, these things are garbage. Every house I've been in that has one of these stupid things, the water never gets hot. The water never... I would turn... At my friend's house, bless their heart, but I'd be upstairs. I'd go to take a shower. I'd turn on the shower. I'd have to wait like 8 minutes before warm water, like the warmest it would get, would start coming out the shower head. I'd sit there for like 5 minutes. I'd go up. I'd be like, it's still ice cold. I'd go sit down. So all these stupid ass tree huggers that want you to put these dumb things in your house to save water or whatever, like everything else these fucking retarded ass tree huggers do, they waste a lot more water. Well, this one here decided to flake out last night, and it only reads the temperature in Celsius, but the hottest it's supposed to get is 55 degrees Celsius, which is like, I think it's 135 Fahrenheit. But that thing won't get hotter than 30 degrees Celsius, which is basically cold. So I had to take a cold shower last night. So the thing's glitching out. The numbers are all flaking out. And that's another thing I've heard about these tankless water heaters is they break and they stop working. And they're pretty much these disposable things on the wall that cost a lot of money, and they don't even last a year before they stop working. So there you go. I've experienced these things in like 4 different houses, and in every single place I've been that has one of these things, they fucking suck. So I wouldn't get one. I would, if I was getting a house, if I was building a house and I want it to be all ultra modern and all that kind of stuff, ditch that thing and get a freaking water tank. Because then you're going to have hot water. That's the difference between one of these and one of those, hot water tanks like we all had, before the tree huggers took over. And they don't want you to have fireplaces, and they don't want you to burn wood. They don't want you to have a wood burning stove. They don't even want you to have a freaking gas stove in your home anymore. They want you to have one of them stupid ass glass top induction countertop stoves. And it's like, you ever seen a restaurant cook with that shit? No, they use gas. They use a flame. There's a reason for that. So no, anything these dumbass tree huggers want you to have, my house isn't going to have it whenever I build my own place or get my own place, a real house one of these days. I ain't going for all that shit. My last house had 3 fireplaces. My last house had 3 fireplaces, and I burned wood in all of them. Fuck you, tree huggers. I pulled the wood right out of the woods behind my house. So, anyway, I'm going to get over the whole, I got to get off this tree hugger rant. But they get on my nerves. These tree huggers, they just, like the gas cans. You ever see the gas cans they have now? Oh my God, you ever try to fill up something with one of these stupid ass gas cans that they've come up with now? You end up spilling half of the gas in the gas can all over the ground before you get any of it in your lawnmower or in your car or whatever it is that you're trying to fill because of this dumbass shit. And it's like these dumb tree huggers, they design these gas cans to keep you from spilling gas all over the place, and you end up spilling half the gas in the canister all over the place because of how stupid it is. Just give me a regular freaking gas can like we had back when I was a kid that just worked, right? Anyway, all right, I'm done with the tree hugger rant. I don't know, that I had to take a cold shower last night, so and I'm talking to the landlord now. I'm gonna get out as soon as I'm done shooting this video. I'm gonna talk to him, get that underway. I want to get some more. You can see I got some more space opening up back here. You can see that like things are starting to get a little bit together. All this stuff over here basically needs to go up there, or be out of the way, and then I can start like sitting in front of a computer, getting my internet hooked up. I still have this T-Mobile thing right there that I haven't even opened the box for yet. I don't think that's going to happen today. I'm feeling pretty. I'm a little bit wired right now because I just got done riding my bicycle 23 miles in Houston traffic. But when that wears off, when the euphoria and the adrenaline wears off, I'm going to be, boom, I'm going to crash. I'm going to crash so hard, it's not even going to be funny. 20 minutes from now, a half hour from now, I won't even be able to stand up. But I don't have to go back to the bakery until Friday. I get some time to chillax and to kind of tune both of the bicycles, get a little bit of that maintenance done, or get this, more importantly, get this tiny house figured out. Maybe I'll have maybe that will get replaced. He was talking about putting a regular water tank in. I don't want him to put it inside here. That would suck because that's going to take up a bunch more room. But if he could just replace that with one that works, even if it only works for the 6 months I'll be here, that's fine with me. I don't know, man. Maybe I should have waited until I calmed down a little bit from the Tasmanian Devil bike ride. And, I turn into the Tasmanian Devil when I'm on that bicycle. I'm like, get out of my way. And it takes a minute to calm down from that when you sit down and you're not surrounded. And the last part of my ride is the craziest part tonight. So that was like combat cycling at its finest. Ooh, that was 5 miles of like white knuckle handlebar. I'll put the helmet camera back on sometime and take you on a ride with me one of these days, but it's going to be it's not going to be this week, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so there you go. You see the tiny house is coming along. The bike ride really isn't that bad. I just got to figure out some. I got to give myself a little bit more time in the morning, which I don't want to do because I hate getting up in the morning. But I get a half hour. I start a half hour later this Friday than I did today. So I can leave at the same time on Friday that I did today, and I have an extra half hour. Plus, I know things that I didn't know this morning in terms of, don't take that turn when Google tells you and certain things like that. And I'll probably shave 20 minutes off the ride just from not making those mistakes again. And I got to study some maps if I can get my computer hooked up and actually sit with a big screen and look at the maps and look at the GPS and how I went and like kind of put things in. I got to associate things in my head with what's on the map, like what I see and where it is on the map. And that takes some time, especially in this area, the woodlands, everything looks the same. And so it's very, very difficult to navigate. My friend has been here for over 2 years and he still needs a GPS when he needs to go anywhere around the woodlands, because it's like you can't figure out where you are by what you're looking at because everything looks the same. It just looks like you're driving through the woods. Um, and so when you're on a bicycle, it's a little bit more subtle. You like, oh, I remember that bridge. I remember that house. I remember that mansion over there. I remember, that church, this thing, that thing. You start to catalog things in your head and you're moving at a slower pace. Plus, you don't have the confines of a vehicle. You're not inside of a sheltered box that's got this dashboard full of crap yelling at you and beeping at you, and you're not holding on to the steering wheel, paying attention. You're just free, and you're free to look around. You got a 360-degree view, and you're cruising along at 20 miles an hour, and it's slow enough that you can actually absorb what you see. And it just, I don't know, you learn how to navigate a place. The city of Pittsburgh, navigating the city of Pittsburgh by bicycle made me an expert on that place. I can get around the city of Pittsburgh so much faster than most people I know, mostly because of the cycling. You just learn different things and you learn how it all connects together, and you learn little shortcuts and things like that if you ride your bike everywhere. Even short, like tips and tricks that help you when you drive around. You just notice things, you navigate better, you don't need a GPS, you don't need to you might turn on a GPS just to get an estimate of like when you're going to arrive somewhere, but you don't need the thing. Um, Little shortcuts, oh, I can cut through this parking lot and come out the other side and save myself 5 minutes because of this traffic jam. Or you can learn different things by cycling around a city or an area, and you learn it in a way that you would never learn. You could drive around. Like I said, my friend has been driving around the woodlands for 2 years and he still can't figure out how to get around it. He needs a GPS to go anywhere in there. I could probably spend the next month or so going back and forth between this job and here, zipping through the woodlands and taking all the twists and turns, and I'll have a better knowledge of how to get around it than he will, just because of the association and the mental picture that you get of things as you're biking. That's different than when you're driving. Um, yeah, I don't really got much else to say. I'm tired. It's already starting to set in. I'm thirsty. I got to go drink a gallon of water. And I got to get a hold of the landlord to see if I can get this situation taken care of with the water heater. And we'll go from there. Anyway, hope y'all having a good one. I got a lot of comments to catch up on. Holy moly, I got a lot of comments to catch up on. Whatever, for some reason, moving into a tiny house made the YouTube views go up by up to 300 plus views on a video now, when I was getting 100 before. So I don't know, maybe I don't get it. I don't get it, but it's awesome. The regulars, you're all here. I see you. I've read a lot of the comments. I'll get around to responding to them. I love responding to all the comments. That makes this fun. And you just got to give me some time because I have an internet connection through my phone, and I'm going to have about enough energy to put on Amazon Prime, plop my phone in front of me, and watch The Boys, a couple episodes of that before I fall asleep, and that's going to be it for the night. Anyway, maybe we'll talk again tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't got much going on. I get to try and get this tiny house done, diddly done, and I don't want to go anywhere. I want to actually stay here for a whole day and not leave, but there's so much stuff to walk to. I might go grab lunch somewhere just because, but maybe not. I don't. I'm done with Burger King. I can't do that again. It's 3 days in a row, man. That was going to be like, I may as well just film a documentary called Supersize Me and go to Burger King instead of McDonald's for a month and see if that does anything different than what McDonald's would do in a month. But anyway, it's 25 minutes into this video and then some, and I'm falling out, so I'm going to let you go. Peace out. We'll talk again.